Hello! I will try to make this very short and sweet, but I ran on a bit in my other video that I made, so it could happen here too. So I'm making the top 10 games of 2018. This is not purely of 2018 in itself, so it's not games that were released in 2018, but games that I myself played in 2018. Think of it less as not a best of 2018, more my personal best of 2018. If that makes sense. So, just to recap, it's stuff that I played in 2018, or at least saw enough of the game to know how good it is, you know? So, I guess I'll get started at number 10. Telltale Game of Thrones. This game was a lot of fun for me because, I love the Game of Thrones universe, and this, more than any other series that I've seen from Telltale, really fit the source material. I think they didn't go the safe route a lot of the time. Like, your characters could die more than you would think, And that's just a part of Game of Thrones, which I think really lent itself to Telltale's style, because they were able to be much riskier than they usually were, and, able to kill off their characters and stuff like that, which, they normally wouldn't have done. At least to that extent. Every other game, it's like, you're basically doing the same thing, and your choices don't matter that much, because you end up in the same place anyway. It's like an illusion of choice. While in Game of Thrones, there actually was a fair extent of choice. And yeah, it's still a Telltale game, so a lot of stuff ended up not mattering. But overall, it was a lot more experimental and riskier than a lot of Telltale's other works. Okay, number 9, What Remains of Edith Finch. This game was really, really, really interesting. It told such a compelling story, and a lot of the flashback moments, they really took a lot to make them so creative and fun. And I won't lie, at first I was super confused, especially with the small child, whenever she turned into an octopus monster, and I'm just sitting here like, what the hell is going on? But overall, I ended up getting the gist of it as things went on, and it ended up being a very interesting story of this entire family's lineage, and how they've had such bad luck, and it's just a game you need to play for yourself. Number 8, Life is Strange 2. Keep in mind that I had only played the first chapter when I was making this list, and I've played the second chapter since, but in 2018 at least, I'd only played the first chapter. So this is purely based on the first chapter, and I guess at this point the second chapter as well, since why not? Life is Strange 2 takes a lot of the elements of the first game, and of course the prequel, Before the Storm, and really tries to add a lot of character moments, I guess. It's less focused on the powers this time and more on the relationship between these two brothers. And it's very clunky at times, especially the second episode. I don't know if I should really even count that for or against this, but overall, it's very, very, very easy to get sucked in with these characters and really grow to love them a lot. So yeah, number 7, Misao. Misao, I just had a lot of fun with. There's so many ways to die in that game, and I had a ton of fun trying to find them all. And just the ludicrousness of a lot of what was happening, the characters' personalities that I kind of played up a bit whenever I played it. I couldn't take it seriously a lot of the time. That's a lot of what gave it its charm, if that makes sense. I wasn't taking all this horror and death seriously. I was just trying to have fun with it, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Number 6, Ori and the Blind Forest. This game was beautiful. It's a shame that it was as hard as it was, because I honestly got frustrated at a lot of points, and it kind of, took away from the enjoyment at parts, but overall I still love the game. I love it to death. And one of the mechanics of the platforming in that game is one of the most fun platform mechanics I've seen in like any game for platforming, and it's just it was such a satisfying thing to do. And like, it's really a game you should play for yourself. It's so beautiful, and it's a simple story, but it's still like really well done. So yeah, go check it out. Number 5, Doki Doki Literature Club. This game is honestly fun for a lot of the same reasons as Misao. Because, like, a lot of the parts of it you can't take seriously, and even the parts that you do, it's like, holy shit, this is happening. And yeah, I've seen this kind of thing before with, like, games shutting down and having to work with game files. Like, a few indie games have done stuff like that, like One Shot and Undertale. Undertale, at least, with shutting down the game. Like, One Shot, for example, really implemented that a lot. So it's not like the first time I've seen that done. But it's still, like, they incorporated that into the story in such an awesome way. And all the girls in the game are really, really do have amazing fleshed out personalities, even if they are all stereotypes. And I love Sayori to death. I want to make a joke about her death, but I don't know if I should. I'll just move on to number 4, Ib. Ib was so much fun. The world in that game is just so rich. And the characters of Ib and Gary, their connection feels so pure, and I love it. And of course, it's like not any more advanced in like gaming as the other RPG Maker games like Misao or Mad Father, but it's still, I think this one took so much. It's just the world for me. I think the world and the art style really made that game, and I loved it. Number 3, Rhyme. Rhyme is honestly one of the most beautiful games I've played. It really is. If you haven't played it, you really should. I think it's criminally underrated because, it's not really all that famous at all. It's a 3D platforming game like you would do in, say, Assassin's Creed, but it's got so much more of like a vibrant, colorful art style, So I guess it's a lot more like, say, The Last Guardian or Shadow of the Colossus as far as how it plays. I guess that makes sense. And anyway, you're just a boy trapped on an island, and you gotta go through and find your way across the island, as you discover more and more things, and you discover more and more about yourself and what the journey you're going on really is. Which I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a really interesting take on certain subjects. Now for the top 2. Honestly, either one of these could be number 1, but I think I'll go with this one for number 2 since it's not complete yet. Deltarune. Toby Fox might just be the greatest game developer of all time. I thought Undertale was about as complete a game as you could have. And then he makes Deltarune, which takes everything we knew and flip it on its head, as well as adding in so much more characters and fun places and ideas. Like, as much as I love every character in Undertale, Susie might be my favorite character in the whole Undertale universe. And to take the throne of, the Skeletal Bros or, whichever other characters, that takes a lot. Susie was amazing. Lancer was really fun. Chris was a protagonist with, some sort of problem, as we see at the end. And Rousey was a fluffy boy. A pure fluffy boy. And I can't wait to see what Chapter 2 and on have for us in Deltarune. Now, finally, my number 1 pick for the best game of 2018. My personal best game of 2018. My favorite, Horizon Zero Dawn. This game was so much fun. The world, oh my god. How the hell do you come up with this sort of idea where you have giant robotic like tigers and all these different, bulls and dinosaurs, and it's just like, and then create a rich world of like tribes and all these characters that are a lot of fun, even if sometimes they were not the best at moving their faces when talking. But besides that, it's like, the combat was so much fun, exploring everything was so much fun, finding out the past about what happened to this world and made it the way it is was just riveting. Like, the lore and backstory for this game were simply phenomenal. And I don't know if it'll be as great as Deltarune is once Deltarune is completely done, but for now at least, this was my favorite game of 2018. And 2019 is shaping up to be about as good. So I'll see you back in maybe not quite a year, hopefully a bit less than that. Hopefully I don't take a full 3 months to come out with the 2019 video. But this has been the best video games of 2018. Well, my favorite ones. I posted this and the top 10 movies, my favorite movies of 2018, which went under the same rules of not just ones released in 2018, but my ones that I've seen and my favorites that I've seen in that year. So go check that out. I'll probably be posting it at the same time as this one. If you like the video, leave a like, of course. Make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment on what you thought of the list, what your list was, maybe. I'd love to hear it. And I will see you all soon. Bye.